The heavy wooden gavel's strike echoed through the cold Boston courtroom like a sudden thunderclap, but it wasn't nearly as loud as the frantic, uneven beating of my heart. After 15 long years of raising my 2 grandchildren as if they were my own flesh and blood, my daughter Laura had appeared out of thin air. She was flanked by a high-priced lawyer and was boldly accusing me of kidnapping her children. She didn't even bother to look into the eyes of the 2 children she had discarded like yesterday's trash so many years ago. Her cold gaze was fixed only on me and the weathered yellow envelope I held tightly in my trembling hands. This envelope contained a shocking truth she never imagined I would keep for so long. My name is Celia, and at 63, I never expected to be in a legal battle against my own daughter. 15 years ago, on a freezing winter night, Laura left 2 shivering and hungry children on my doorstep in the Beacon Hill neighborhood. "I just need to fix some personal things, Mom. Please watch them for just a few days. I promise I'll be back soon," she had said before quickly climbing into a yellow taxi and vanishing for over a decade. Leo was only 4 years old then. Little Maya had just turned 2. They were hungry, scared, and clutching a single worn gray teddy bear between them for comfort. Those promised few days slowly turned into long weeks, then months, and finally a relentless, painful march of 15 years. There were no phone calls, no letters, and no sign of life from her at all. It was as if Laura had simply evaporated into the cold Atlantic mist that often rolls through the Boston streets. I spent my modest teacher's pension and took on several extra tutoring jobs at night to provide everything they needed. I learned how to braid Maya's thick hair, cheered loudly at every one of Leo's soccer games, and stayed up through countless nights whispering away the nightmares of children who felt unwanted by the world. In the beginning, Leo would cry every single night, asking when his mommy was coming home. I would lie to him and say soon while silently praying for a forgiveness I felt I didn't deserve for the necessary deception. Eventually, the difficult questions slowed down as they grew older, but the hollow space in their young hearts always remained. I documented every single milestone in that yellow envelope, their very first steps without her, their hospital visits, and their school reports from the early years. I also kept the one and only letter Laura ever sent me 3 months after she first left. It was a cruel letter that simply said, "Forget me. They are much better off with you." Now, on a mundane Tuesday afternoon, the doorbell had rung, and there she was, standing on my porch. She looked completely different, expensive designer clothes, professional makeup, and an icy demeanor that chilled my soul to the bone. "I've come to take my children back," she said with a flat voice, as if she were merely picking up some dry cleaning from a shop. Behind me in the hallway, Leo and Maya stood frozen, looking at a complete stranger who shared their DNA but absolutely none of their memories. The war for our family had officially begun, and Laura had no idea that I was armed with the one thing she feared most: the evidence. I had evidence of her own cold-blooded choice to walk away from us all those years ago. Laura's lawyer, a man named Marcus Thorne with a shark-like smile, handed me a formal petition for the immediate restoration of custody. "My client never legally waived her parental rights," he stated, his voice smooth and rehearsed. "The temporary custody you obtained was based on a very large and unfortunate misunderstanding." I looked at him, then at Laura, who was studiously avoiding Leo's piercing and angry gaze. "A 15-year misunderstanding?" I retorted, my voice shaking with pure indignation. Leo stepped forward, his tall and athletic frame casting a long shadow over the room. "My mother is the woman who raised me," he said, his voice deep and steady. "You are just a face in a photograph that I have hidden away in the attic." Maya was completely silent, tears tracking down her pale cheeks as she looked at Laura as if she were a ghost from a horror movie. Laura tried to reach out to her, but Maya flinched away, retreating quickly behind my shoulder for safety. The rejection was visible on Laura's face for a split second before the mask of indifference returned. They left with a warning. A hearing was set for the following week. I was terrified of what might happen. Despite the years of abandonment, I knew that the legal system often favored biological parents in these cases. That night, I called an old friend, a retired detective named Miller, who had helped me file the initial desertion reports years ago. "There's something very wrong about this, Celia," he said over the phone. "People like Laura don't just find instincts after 15 years. There is definitely a motive behind this sudden return," he added. I spent the entire night poring over the contents of the yellow envelope. I realized that to save my grandchildren, I had to do more than just prove I was a good grandmother. I had to expose exactly why Laura was really here now. I hired a private investigator with the last of my savings. I needed to know what Laura had been doing all these years. I needed to know why Boston was suddenly so attractive to her again after a decade of silence. Maya couldn't sleep that night. She sat in the kitchen, drawing dark, jagged lines in her notebook. "She wants to take me to a city I don't know, to a home that isn't home," she whispered. I hugged her tightly, promising to fight with every breath. But looking at the documents on the table, I felt the weight of the years. Could a 63-year-old widow really beat a woman with a high-powered law firm and a sudden, desperate hunger for a family she never wanted? 2 days before the big hearing, the private investigator called me with a major breakthrough. "Celia, your brother Arthur, the one who lived in London, passed away 2 months ago," he said. I knew about Arthur's passing, but we hadn't been close for a long time. "He left a trust fund," the investigator continued. "A very substantial one. $1 million, specifically for Leo and Maya. It is to be accessed for their education or when they turn 21. My heart skipped a beat as the truth began to emerge. "The catch is," he added, "until they are of age. The legal guardian has full control over how that educational money is spent by the family." It turned out that Laura is currently swimming in massive debt in Chicago. She's facing foreclosure on her expensive condo and several lawsuits from angry creditors. The pieces finally clicked into place with a sickening thud in my stomach. Laura didn't want her children. She wanted their trust fund to pay off her gambling debts and failed investments. I felt a wave of intense nausea wash over me. My own daughter was willing to uproot her children's entire lives and cause them immeasurable trauma just to get her hands on money that didn't belong to her. I met with our lawyer, Sarah Jenkins, and showed her the evidence. "This is huge, Celia," Sarah said, her eyes narrowing with professional focus. "If we can prove she knew about the inheritance before filing for custody, her argument falls apart." We found phone records showing Laura had contacted Arthur's estate lawyers in London just 3 days before she showed up at my door. We also obtained a recording of a conversation between Laura and a creditor, where she promised she would have access to a very large sum within a month. I felt like a spy in a movie I never wanted to star in, but the stakes were the lives of the people I loved most. When I told Leo about the inheritance, he didn't care about the money at all. His jaw tightened until I thought his teeth might actually break from the pressure. "She's not just a stranger anymore," he spat with venom. "She's a predator." Maya, on the other hand, just went completely quiet. The realization that her mother's return was bought and paid for by a dead uncle's money was the final blow. It was the blow that crushed her fragile hope of a real reconciliation. We were ready for court, but the emotional damage was already done to the children. The courtroom was cold and smelled of floor wax. Laura sat across from us, wearing a soft pink dress specifically designed to make her look gentle and motherly. Thorne began his opening statement, painting a tragic picture of a woman who suffered. He claimed she had suffered a breakdown and was now miraculously recovered and eager to provide the life her children truly deserve. He spoke of private schools and European vacations, things my modest teacher's pension could never provide. Then it was our turn to speak. Sarah Jenkins stood up, calm and formidable. "Your Honor, we aren't here to discuss vacations or private schools," she said. "We are here to discuss a 15-year silence that was only broken when $1 million became available," Sarah added firmly. She produced the phone logs and the debt notifications for the judge to see. The atmosphere in the room shifted instantly as the evidence was presented. Judge Harrison leaned forward in his chair, his sharp eyes boring into Laura. "Ms. Martinez," the judge said, his voice gravelly, "did you know about your children's trust fund before you initiated this custody request?" Laura faltered, her rehearsed smile slipping from her face. I had heard some rumors, but my primary concern was always my children," she stammered. "Answer the question directly," the judge interrupted sternly. She looked at Thorne, but he was busy looking at his notes, realizing the tide had finally turned. Then, the most powerful and moving moment happened. Maya requested to speak to the court. The judge allowed her to approach the bench. "I don't remember the woman in the pink dress at all," Maya said, her voice small but clear. "But I remember the woman who sat with me through every fever, who taught me how to paint, and who never once made me feel like I was a burden. That woman is my grandmother. If you send me with a stranger, you aren't giving me a mother. You're giving me a prison sentence," Maya concluded. The room was so silent you could hear the clock on the wall ticking. Leo stood up next, stating that he was an adult and would never leave his grandmother's side. He vowed to fight to protect his sister until his last breath. Laura began to cry, but they weren't the tears of a mother. They were the tears of a cornered animal who realized the trap had snapped shut on her instead. Judge Harrison didn't need long to deliberate after hearing the testimonies. "The evidence of abandonment is overwhelming," he stated, looking at Laura with clear disgust. "But the evidence of attempted financial fraud is what truly seals this case. Using children as leverage is a special kind of cruelty." He denied the petition for custody and granted me permanent, irrevocable guardianship of Maya until she turned 18. He went further, issuing a restraining order against Laura, prohibiting her from contacting the children or me for 2 years. He also referred the case to the district attorney for investigation into her financial misconduct. Laura shrieked, accusing me of poisoning the children. The guards quickly escorted her out as she continued to scream. As she was led away, she looked at Leo, but he simply turned his back, shielding Maya from the sight of her mother's final meltdown. We walked out of the courthouse into the bright Boston sun, and I felt a decade younger. The weight that had been crushing my chest for weeks finally lifted. Sarah Jenkins hugged me and said, "You did it! They're safe now, Celia," she added with a smile. We went home to Beacon Hill, and for the first time in 15 years, we didn't look at the door with fear. The shadow of the what if was finally gone for good. Detective Miller met us at the house with a box of pizza. "I knew you had it in you," he laughed. We sat in the living room, surrounded by the photos Laura had tried to erase from our lives. We felt like a real family again, united and strong. The money from Arthur's trust would ensure. Leo could finish his engineering degree, and Maya could go to the best art school in the country. It was a gift from a brother I barely knew, but it had saved us in the end. That night, I watched Leo and Maya laughing over a board game. I realized that my life's work wasn't the students I had taught. It was these two resilient souls who had survived the worst kind of betrayal and come out stronger. I went to my room and finally burned the one letter Laura had sent all those years ago. The past was now nothing but ash. Our future was finally ours to write however we wanted. 3 years have passed since that day in the courtroom. Our lives have settled into a beautiful, rhythmic peace and joy. Leo graduated with honors and is now working for a top aerospace firm in Seattle, though he calls me every Sunday without fail to check in. Maya is a sophomore at the Rhode Island School of Design, pursuing her dreams. Her latest art exhibition, titled Roots Beyond Blood, recently won the prestigious Chairman's Award. We never heard from Laura again after that day at the courthouse. The last I heard through the grapevine, she had moved to Las Vegas, still chasing the next big win to pay off her never-ending debts. I don't feel anger anymore, only a distant sense of pity. She missed out on the greatest treasures life has to offer, the pride of seeing your children succeed and the warmth of a home built on unconditional love. I still live in our house in Beacon Hill. It's much quieter now, but the walls are filled with many new and happy memories. Maya visits me almost every weekend, her messy canvases cluttering the sunroom just like they did when she was 10 years old. We talk about everything, her big dreams, my garden, and the strange winding path that brought us here. She told me recently that she doesn't think of me as her grandmother anymore. "You're just my mother, Celia. Period," she said with a hug. I spend my afternoons volunteering at a local youth center, helping children who have been let down by the people who were supposed to protect them. I tell them our story, not the part about the lawyer or the trust fund, but the part about how a tiny flame of love can eventually burn away the largest shadow of abandonment. As I sit on my porch today, watching the sunset over the Charles River, I feel a profound sense of gratitude for my life. Life didn't give me the family I originally planned, but it gave me the family I truly needed. I am Celia, a survivor, a teacher, and a mother by choice. And I know, with absolute certainty, that no matter how dark the night, the dawn will always find its way back. It will always return to the doorstep of a house built on truth and love. The children are my legacy, and their happiness is my reward. I often think about the day they first arrived, so small and fragile. Now they are strong and independent, ready to face the world. They have taught me more about love and resilience than I ever could have taught them. We are a family, and that is all that matters. Sometimes, during my walks through the park, I see young mothers with their children. I hope they realize how precious those moments are. Time passes so quickly, and once it's gone, you can never get it back. I am grateful that I had the chance to be there for Leo and Maya, to watch them grow and become the wonderful people they are today. My life has been full, despite the challenges we faced. Detective Miller still stops by occasionally for a cup of coffee and a chat. He's become a dear friend over the years. We talk about the old days and the cases he worked on, but we mostly talk about our families. He's proud of his own children, and he's always been a great supporter of Leo and Maya. It's good to have friends you can count on, people who know your history and stand by you. I've started a small garden in the backyard, mostly herbs and some roses. It's a peaceful way to spend my mornings. There's something satisfying about watching things grow and bloom under your care. It's a lot like raising children, actually. It takes patience, dedication, and a lot of love. And when they finally bloom, it's the most beautiful sight in the world. I find a lot of peace in my garden. Maya's success as an artist makes me so proud. She has a way of expressing emotions through her paintings that is truly remarkable. Her exhibition was a big success, and I was so happy to be there with her. She's worked hard to develop her talent, and it's wonderful to see her efforts being recognized. She's a strong and talented woman, and I know she has a very bright future ahead of her. Leo is doing great in Seattle. He loves his job, and he's making a real difference in his field. He's always been a hard worker and a dedicated student, so I'm not surprised that he's doing so well. He calls me every week, and we talk for hours. I miss him, of course, but I'm so happy that he's living his life and pursuing his dreams. He's a wonderful man, and I'm so proud to be his grandmother. Our story is a reminder that you can overcome even the most difficult challenges if you have the courage to face the truth and fight for what's right. Abandonment is a terrible thing, but it doesn't have to define your life. You can choose to move forward, to build a new life, and to find happiness again. It's not easy, but it's possible. And once you find that peace, it's worth every struggle. Looking back at the trial, I realize how much was at stake. If we had lost, Leo and Maya's lives would have been very different. They would have been taken away from the only home they ever knew and sent to live with a stranger. It was a terrifying thought, but we fought for our family and we won. Justice was served, and the truth finally came out. It was a victory for all of us. The yellow envelope is still in my desk drawer, a reminder of the journey we've been on. I don't look at it very often anymore, but it's there if I ever need to remember. It's a part of our history, a record of the challenges we overcame and the strength we found. It's a symbol of our resilience and our determination to stay together as a family. We are survivors, and we are proud of it. Every evening, I sit on my porch and watch the world go by. It's a quiet life, but it's a good one. I am surrounded by memories of the children and the life we built together. I am at peace with myself and with my past. I have no regrets, only a deep sense of gratitude for the family I was given and the love we share. Life is a beautiful journey, and I am glad that I am on it. I often wonder what Laura is doing in Las Vegas. I hope she's found some peace, although I doubt it. She was always chasing something she could never quite reach. It's a sad way to live, always looking for the next big thing and never appreciating what you have. I hope one day she realizes that the greatest treasures in life are not money or status, but the love of your family. The youth center where I volunteer is a wonderful place. It's filled with children who need a little extra love and support, and I'm happy to be there for them. I tell them stories and help them with their homework, and I listen to their dreams and their fears. It's a way of giving back to the community and helping the next generation. It brings me a lot of joy to see them succeed. Boston is a beautiful city, especially in the fall when the leaves change color. I love walking through the streets and seeing the historical buildings and the parks. It's a city with a lot of character and a lot of history, and I'm proud to call it my home. I've lived here for many years, and I can't imagine living anywhere else. It's a place where I feel safe and connected. I recently started taking a cooking class, mostly for fun. It's a great way to meet new people and learn something new. I've always enjoyed cooking, but it's nice to learn some new techniques and recipes. I've been making some wonderful meals for myself and for Maya when she visits. It's a small thing, but it brings me a lot of satisfaction. I enjoy the simple pleasures of life now. Maya's painting Roots Beyond Blood is hanging in my living room. It's a beautiful and moving piece of art that perfectly captures our family's journey. Every time I look at it, I am reminded of the strength and resilience of the human spirit. It's a symbol of our love and our bond, and it's a constant source of inspiration for me. I am so lucky to have such a talented and loving granddaughter. Leo sent me a photo of his new apartment in Seattle. It's a modern and stylish place with a great view of the city. He looks so happy and successful in the photo, and it makes my heart swell with pride. He's worked so hard to get where he is today, and he deserves every bit of his success. He's a remarkable young man, and I'm so grateful to have him in my life. Life is full of surprises, both good and bad. You never know what's around the corner, and you have to be prepared for anything. Our story is a testament to the fact that you can overcome even the most difficult challenges if you have the strength and the determination to keep moving forward. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. And once you find that peace, it's the best feeling. The Charles River is so peaceful in the evening. I love watching the sunset over the water and the lights of the city coming on. It's a beautiful sight that never fails to move me. It's a reminder of the beauty and majesty of the world and the importance of appreciating every moment. I am grateful for my life and for the family I love. Everything has worked out in the end. I've started writing down my thoughts and memories in a journal. It's a way of processing my experiences and leaving a record for the children. I want them to know our story, not just the facts, but the emotions and the lessons we learned. It's a way of sharing my wisdom and my love with them, and it's a cathartic process for me as well. I find a lot of peace in writing. Detective Miller and I often talked about the trial and the way things worked out. He's always been a great supporter of ours, and I'm so grateful for his friendship. He knew the truth from the beginning, and he stood by us through everything. It's good to have people in your life who believe in you and support you, especially when things get difficult. He's a true friend and a wonderful person. The children are my greatest accomplishment. Watching them grow and become the wonderful people they are today has been the greatest joy of my life. I am so proud of them and all they have achieved. They have overcome so much and they have come out stronger and more resilient. They are the future of our family, and I know they will continue to do great things. I am blessed. As I look back at my life, I realize that every challenge I faced was a lesson in disguise. The difficult times made me stronger, and the good times made me more grateful. I have no regrets, only a deep sense of peace and satisfaction. I have lived a full and meaningful life, and I'm grateful for every moment. My story is one of resilience, love, and the power of the human spirit. I am Celia. I am a survivor. I am a mother by choice, and I am finally home. The sunset is beautiful today, the promise of a new tomorrow. I close my eyes and listen to the sounds of the city, the rhythm of life that tells me everything will be okay. My story is not over, but this chapter is closed with peace. Thank you for listening to my journey. Stay strong and remember, love is the greatest force in the world.